All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to begin making your clay medallion with your self-portrait on it, and we're going to be using Model Magic clay. So I'm going to open that up. I'm cheating with the scissors, they can be a little tricky to open. And you're going to use this whole chunk to create the circle shape, and there's all these little bits that like to get stuck in there, so just do a little quick dab, sorry, is the camera shaking, to get all that bits of clay up. Dab, 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 dab. All right, and that's gonna be garbage, so I'll get it out of the way. And I'm gonna take this clay and I'm gonna roll it into a ball shape. Once I have a nice, nice little ball, I'm going to put it on the wax paper. Something I should have done first is write my name. I'll use a marker so you can see it. Write my name and room number. Your class number would be whatever your homeroom is. So I have my ball, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to squish it on my palm. It might stick to my palm. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to squish it down again. And I'm going to take it and just flatten it. Now you're going to get those little edges that kind of crack as you flatten it out. And that's okay. We can smooth that out later. So I'm going to I'm going to push it down, and then I like to flip it, and I'll only flip it a few times because it's going to start to stick to that wax paper. That's okay. When it's totally dry, we're going to peel the wax paper off the back. So now I'm just going to kind of clean up those little edges, and I'm going to grab some water because sometimes a little bit of water can help smooth down those edges. So I'm just sticking my finger in the water and I'm just going to smooth it down. Model Magic is essentially like when you make clay with glue. It's the light, fluffy consistency, I suppose. So you can really just use that water. You see how I'm smoothing it down. So you can spend a little more time making that nice and clean as you need it to look. Let me see if I can flip it one more time. Now I'm not going to flip it again because you see it's going to start doing that. So this is my last time flipping. So I'll just take my time and from the center work my way to press it down to make it a little bit more thinner. The trick is you want it no thicker than your thumb and no thinner than your pinky. It's a general rule for all clay. If I make this too thick, what happens is the moisture gets stuck in the middle as the outside starts to dry, and that's why your Model Magic will start to crack. And especially in our schools here in the school district of Philadelphia, where our heating and cooling is not as optimal as we'd like it to be, and the temperatures tend to fluctuate, getting really, really hot or really, really cold or really, really humid, that can be an issue. So I've got my medallion, my name is on my wax paper or my little deli paper. It's good to go for me. All right, you can make it a little bit nicer. Now, you're gonna take another pack of the Model Magic and split it with someone next to you. I already have a little chunk over here. And you're gonna use that chunk to start building up your face. So we have our reference here. And remember, this circle should be about the size of this circle. That's what we're representing. No thicker than your thumb, no thinner than your pinky. So I'm gonna take the Model Magic, and now what I wanna do is I wanna essentially make this shape. So I'm gonna be doing more of an additive process. I'm gonna get that. And I'm gonna take this and try to match it up to what would be the shape of my face. So I'm just gonna push it down there. It might pick up some of the pencil when I push this down. That's okay. I'm gonna peel that up. So now I have approximately the shape of my face. I'm gonna put that on, and I'm just gonna shape it up. I'm gonna use my water. Okay. And now I'm gonna get another piece. I'm gonna do my neck. My neck is gonna lay a little flatter. This is higher up because my face would stick out higher than my neck. So I'm gonna take a piece, make a sort of cylinder shape. I'm gonna put that on, and I'm gonna push it down so that it's lower. So I don't know how well you could see that, but the neck is lower than the Model Magic. I'm gonna do the same thing for my shoulders, and my shoulders chest area would probably sit up a little higher than my neck, just by a smidge. So I'm gonna take this and build it out. Maybe push it up a little higher so my neck isn't super long, because we don't really have long necks here. I'm not too worried about the edges right now. I can clean that up later. All right. And now I'm going to do my hair. So I'm going to kind of just make a nice long flat piece that I'm going to manipulate around. I'm going to clean my edges. And we can add texture with a tool a little bit later, but you could also make really small coils to do that. So I'm going to start adding my hair. If you did braids, you could make 3 thin, long coils, and you could braid those together if you know how to do a basic plait braid. Okay, so there's one side of my hair. Again, I'll clean up my lines. It's a little cracked. I'll clean those up later. Now I'm going to do my bangs, so I'm going to try to kind of mimic that shape. If I need to do it on the paper, I will, but I'm not going to leave it there too long because it's going to stick to the paper like it's sticking to the wax paper, but it's okay on the wax paper. So I'm going to take this, squish it on. Model Magic will just stick to itself, but if you really want to make sure, you could just put a little dab of water. You see how it's getting kind of gluey there. That's okay. All right, so my hair is done, my neck, and now I would do my features. So to do my nose, I'm going to make a little coil. And this is how you make a coil if that's something you need to do to add details. I'm just going to take a little bit of it because it's not going to be very huge. I'm going to take that and bend it into a sort of nose L shape and push it down. So it just made like a little L, and I just pushed it in there. I'm going to do the same with my eye. I'm going to make a much skinnier coil. Ah, it's sticking to me because my finger was too wet. Yeah, if your finger's like really wet, the clay is going to stick to you. You got to make sure it's dry before you try to do the coil. And I'm going to try to make myself a little, oh, you know what I'm going to do for the eye? I'm going to make a little sphere actually. And then I'm going to kind of push that down and pinch the corners. So that will be my eye. And I can shape it up. Now you're going to have a tool that is like a sharpened wood tool. I don't have those at my desk right now, so I'm just going to use this. And I'm just going to push that down, and I'm going to make the part that would be black in my eye, and I'm just going to kind of do it like that. You could also make a little tiny ball and put that right on top, but I'm just going to kind of poke it out there. And now for my mouth, I'm going to use this thin coil. I've got too much of a puddle there, and that's bothering me, so I'm going to take a little corner of a paper towel and just soak that up. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to take my mouth with my coil. A little mouth happening here. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. We're going with the sort of essence of this thing. Looks a little goofy, and I'm okay with that. I don't mind. I'm gonna try to reshape it with my tool here. All right, and my other eye is pretty much covered up by my bangs, so I'm gonna try to push that back down so it's in the right place. Definitely needing to reshape my chin here a little. Got a little funky. Push that in. Nah, I done messed it up, but that's all right. I'm gonna just reshape it. All right, so I've got the basics of it here, and you just keep kind of adding up your details. You can see it coming together. I know it's probably a little harder for you to see this, but you get the idea. And then to do things like words, I can also just make coils and start to build up my letters with those coils. I didn't leave myself enough room up here, so I think I'll put it over to the side and start to make an A. Boom. There's my A. And I think I'm just gonna write art. I'm gonna shorten it. So I'm editing it on the go, and that's fine. And you can do other things like adding texture with the wooden tool by just simply dragging it on the surface. Okay, so that's what you can do with the Model Magic clay to start your medallion building. I'm not finished, so I'm gonna go and work on this in my own time.